Jimmy or Jey Uso? Let's talk about the Uso twins. Honestly, I've always had this opinion. It's my opinion, but, you know, I've always believed as well that Jimmy Uso is the better twin. Jimmy Uso has more charisma than Jey Uso. Jey Uso is the less charismatic twin. Now, there's a lot of people that hate on Jey Uso and the Yeet movement, and they say that it's stale and it's run its course and all that, and he shouldn't be world heavyweight champion anymore. Um, I see some good and bad qualities with Jey Uso. I feel like he was better when he wasn't yelling yeet all the time. If he had have remained as the Jey Uso that first left the bloodline and had all that popularity behind him without saying yeet or without overly relying on yeeting with the crowd, then that Jey Uso would have got over even more so than what he ended up doing by saying yeet. Um, it's kind of funny that it ended up happening that way because Jimmy Uso truly was the one that said yeet long before Jay said it. And they both probably were saying it as teenagers and all that, whatever, back in the day. But I'm just saying, like on television, we all know Jimmy was the first one to say it, and he used it several times with Sami Zayn and all that. And that was back when Jey Uso couldn't stand Sami Zayn and Jimmy was cool with Sami. But when it comes to like in-ring psychology and mic work and, you know, just character depth, I feel like Jimmy Uso has all of those layers that Jey Uso doesn't have. Jimmy's funny. Jimmy can talk better than Jay. Jimmy can wrestle better than Jay. I mean, go watch any of Jimmy Uso's matches with Drew McIntyre and they're bangers. This guy can fucking wrestle banger matches with McIntyre. And Jey Uso is having snooze fests with CM Punk. I bet Jimmy Uso would probably wrestle a better match with CM Punk than Jey Uso would. And it's not all hate for Jey Uso. Like I said, like he at one point in time he was my favorite in the bloodline. It was Jimmy for a long time, but then when Jay started to stand out on his own, like he kind of became my favorite for a minute. And then when he started eating too much, I kind of got tired of all that. But I mean, I've been with the Usos, since I guess you could say day one. But seriously though, yeah, I mean, I've had my moments where I've been fans of both of them. I've kind of been more, you could say, a Jimmy fan. I mean, yeah, I've been rocking with Jimmy more than Jay. But yeah, I've had my moments with Jay. All in all, I feel like Jimmy should have been the one to get the push over Jay. And maybe it's because of his DUI that happened back in 2021, his second DUI or however many DUIs he's had. I know him and Jay both have had a DUI, but then Jimmy ended up having a second one. So Jimmy's kind of got the back-to-back DUIs, and maybe that's what stalled his push. Maybe that's why they never gave him the singles push. I don't know. Although that was like 4 or 5 years ago, so I mean the guy's, kind of been on the clear path. Um, I don't know. I would love to see a Jimmy Uso push. I would love to see Jimmy Uso get his comeuppance and, finally do something. I feel like he could be a good world champion. He could even be a good WWE champion. But I mean, obviously, the story has to be right. The plot has to be right. The timing, all of that, the crowd reactions, And Jimmy Uso is popular. I mean, he may not be quite as popular as Jey Uso in the Yeet movement. But I mean, the guy gets a reaction from the crowd. When he comes out, he gets cheered. When he returned to help Roman Reigns, he got a big pop. When he beat Drew McIntyre a few months ago, uh, you know, or whenever that was. It was some months ago that he beat Drew McIntyre with a roll up, and the crowd went nuts over it. Like they cheered him crazy for that. So he gets some pretty good reactions. So all I'm saying is like, yeah, I would love to see Jimmy get his just due. They need to invest in him. They need to invest in him like they did Jey Uso. Um, because yeah, I feel like he has a lot to offer, but we just need to see what it is. Because if you can already see that he can wrestle and talk better than Jey, then give him a chance. Let's see what the other Uso twin is capable of. But we'll never know unless WWE pulls the trigger. Hopefully they do.